WOKB, Winter Garden, Orlando.
Welcome to another edition of Real Family Talk. This is your host, Jay Real. Hope everybody's having a great Tuesday night.
Hello, hello. Welcome to Real Family Talk. This is your host, Jay Real. I hope everybody's having a great Wednesday evening, man. Beautiful day in the city. The weather's great, nice. I think it's about 80-something degrees outside right now. I call that good weather. I don't know about y'all, but that's the type of weather I like to see, man, on a nice Wednesday evening, man. We're going to have a good time tonight, man. I got my people with me. Jeremy's in the building. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm good. How you doing out there? Radio Land, WOKB.
That's what I'm talking
Real
about.
Family Talk.
We got Mr. King's in the building. How you doing, Mr. King?
All right. I'm doing better. With two E's.
Two E's, huh?
Two E's, he said. And joining us tonight as well, man, we got Better's in the building. Miss McCrae, how you doing, Miss McCrae?
What up, people? Better is better.
Better is better.
Just take something so pure.
Oh man, we're gonna have a good time tonight, man. We're gonna talk about what everybody's talking about. That's what we're gonna talk about. What everybody's talking about. The Ray Rice situation. He got suspended, of course, for the domestic violence that he had displayed upon his then fiance and now wife. We're going to talk about the comments that Stephen A. Smith made regarding the situation and what happened to him. And we're going to just get your opinion on what you think about all of this stuff that's been happening related to this. Of course, domestic violence is a huge problem that we have in America and that we want to correct. So I just want to hear what you have to say tonight. So we're definitely going to be looking for you to talk to us tonight. 407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680 is the number. Before I go there, I got a question for y'all. Have y'all seen these Facebook videos that are going around where the kids are doing the fire challenge? Have y'all seen this
that
foolishness?
One and the fainting one.
The fainting one, there's the fainting
ridiculous.
one, and then the fire challenge. Have you seen the fire challenge, Jeremy?
I have not seen it.
Well, let me tell you what the fire challenge is. So the fire challenge is basically these kids are going into a bathroom. They're turning the shower on in the bathroom. And then they're finding household chemicals that are flammable, pouring the household chemicals on themselves, mainly the chest area. And then, of course, it drips down because we're talking about liquids here, but mainly the chest area. And then while the shower's going, they're standing in the bathtub. The flammable liquid, whatever it is, they're just finding random things that are flammable, basically. And then they take a lighter and then light themselves on fire and then watch the flammable liquid, most of the time in shock at the flames that are emitting as they just pour flammable liquid all over their chest. And they refer to it as the fire challenge. I'm saying to myself, what in the, you ain't got nothing better to do than to pour flammable liquid on yourself and then light yourself on fire while your friends and family members are standing around taking photos of this. I saw one with her, and then they get surprised. That's oh my gosh, I'm on fire. Yes, you're on fire. You just poured liquid. It's dripping down your leg.
What is the, well, I would ask what's the purpose, but I guess there is none, right?
What is the purpose?
Yeah.
You ain't got nothing better to do? You can't go play no basketball. You don't play video games.
Nothing, no.
Some TV. Something, but let me find some acetone, from my mama's
I think they use
nail polish remover. Pour that on my chest and light it on fire and see what that feel like.
They're using whipped cream and baby oil. I know people who do it all the time. They working though.
All right.
We talking about kids right now.
Well, some of them be kids, some of them be 19. But this is not nothing new. It's just a new challenge.
I would say this. Now, don't get me wrong. I would be lying to say if I didn't play with fire a little bit when I was young, but I definitely wouldn't go play with it on me.
No.
That's the thing.
That's the challenge.
Pour it on you.
It's not gonna burn you. It's gonna burn the acetone. That's the challenge. You in the shower
until the acetone burns off.
That's why you in the shower.
Okay.
No.
They're always doing it with safety and around adults.
No, they're not.
There are adults around.
Okay. No, they're not.
Watch. No.
No
adults are around.
No,
these are kids.
These are kids, teenagers.
Okay, well at least they're in the tub around water. Please tell me the water was on.
Let me tell you. I guess you can't, but. If left I was alive, I was going to tell you, ask her about the tub being flammable.
Well, you can't say that because it's too early to be saying that about Left Eye. It's too early. The movie ain't came out yet.
No, I'm not talking about her in particular. I'm talking about asking about a tub being flammable.
Right.
Well, them tubs made out of acrylic.
The thing about it is she used gasoline. They're using baby oil and whipped cream. Those are two different flammable things right there.
No, but what I'm saying is if the tub catch, ain't that water is not going to help.
Well, it's a challenge. They had a game. It's a game called Physical Challenge.
It's a challenge.
That one
I would not be participating
at all. And watch your kids, folks, these teenagers, because the other one is the fainting game.
The fainting game.
What's that about?
They they hyperventilate, like they breathe in a lot of oxygen. So you see them like bending over, taking as much oxygen as possible. And then they either you bear hug somebody or they throw them against the wall and like really push in their chest, which causes you to have like almost.
It basically stops you from breathing for however long that they're holding your chest.
And they pass out. Some of them like go into like seizures and stuff. And mind you, somebody's recording this as it's happening.
No.
What?
I really don't want to ask this, but who was doing this?
We already know.
We are doing this.
Okay.
All the kids.
Black kids?
Black kids.
Wow.
Black kids, white kids, all the kids,
See,
teenagers are doing it.
This is
all over Facebook.
This is one of the downsides of integration.
Okay. I can't.
I think this is one of the downsides of the
integration.
Hey, I'm just saying, some stuff we just not supposed to be doing. Some stuff we just naturally wouldn't do, but sometimes, we done integrated and, everybody's like, oh, yeah, we adventurous. No, we not that adventurous.
We are not that adventurous.
We're adventurous when we got to live or when we got to eat, but just talking about having fun, no, I don't think so.
The fire video I seen was with black kids.
Yeah, the fire video was black kids too.
When they was in the shower, that were black kids that I seen. Yeah. They was with some white kids, but that was black kids.
Yeah, I've seen both of them in these Facebook photos. Yeah. Whatever happened to just Bloody Mary?
No,
like just go in
that's
the bathroom,
not the internet.
Turn off
See,
the
that
lights.
was before the internet.
But why you gotta do these things that can really?
Bloody Mary can really hurt you. That's what they had. They had Candyman, they had Bloody Mary, but now with the internet, they got cinnamon and flame. And, that's nothing bad. We all played with fire as a kid. The cinnamon challenge wasn't even thought of as a kid until the internet. I think we actually upgraded.
Okay.
We upgraded.
I think we upgraded. We went from tag to let me set you on fire. Which one was more fun?
Let me risk your life.
You gonna remember tag you it, hide and go seek.
I do remember tag you it.
Or do you Red Rover with the or you gonna remember the flame challenge?
I remember hide and go seek. Hide and go seek on Swire Court was the ball.
It was legendary. It
was a great time.
It was legendary. Right. It was legendary.
But that was back in the 80s. In the 20,
great time.
In 20,000 something.
We need to go back to them kind of times.
We setting kids on fire.
And don't let it turn into we playing the whole street.
In the dark?
You be playing out there for 3 hours looking for somebody. You like, man, I just give up, man. Y'all come out.
Hide and go seek at night was the best.
Yes. Legendary.
But they don't do that anymore,
Chris Shaw just showed me the video on these fainting games. What is wrong with these people?
Isn't it crazy?
What is wrong with these people?
Like they really spaz out. Like for real.
That's insane.
Somebody gonna have brain damage, permanent.
See, they already got brain damage. That's why they did it. Now, right here, when you're working on a higher doses of medication.
Yeah.
Out of control.
That's when you need the white jacket that's backwards.
Exactly.
So you won't hurt yourself no more.
But with the lock on it.
Because you might hurt yourself without a lock.
Watch your kids. These teenagers.
Like I said, the
hide
games.
The kids, hide your wives, hide
all of them.
Hide the internet. If it wasn't for the internet.
Hide the acetone, too.
It's time to lock it all back up.
Yeah, lock all of it up.
They went from.
What happened to locking up the poison the poison cabinet, the flammable liquid? Remember that?
They doing it with toenail stuff, though, man.
We need to start locking that back up.
They doing it with toenail polish. You can't lock up the whipped cream.
Look, I couldn't go in my parents' room. Don't go in our room.
Hey, you remember that?
You had to ask
You
permission.
couldn't even go. You remember that? You get called your parents' room. You get
Hey,
whooping.
what you doing in my room?
Yes.
What you doing in my room?
What you doing in my room?
If I'm called to the room,
Yeah.
that's a different story.
Hey.
But me just walk up in there?
I remember being called to the room and still kind of like,
Should I go?
Should I supposed to go? Remember how even like back in the day, how you used to do the pulpit in church when the preacher called you in, would you be like, I don't know, am I supposed to step in there?
Yeah.
Do I step on the?
You bet not go in my room. So, I mean, lock the stuff up. Where's the discipline with these parents?
407
Boundaries.
1680.
But see, the thing about it is the parents don't know that craziness like this is going on until they find out
They
that
child
it's
in the
going
hospital.
Yeah, and then it's like, I never knew he was setting himself on fire and making himself faint. We don't even think about that kind of craziness until we listen to Real Family Talk.
That's crazy.
Call us, man. Call in at 407-894-1680. 407-894-1680. Like I said, we're discussing the fire challenge that's going around Facebook, where the kids are taking household products, pouring them on their body, and then taking a lighter and lighting themselves on fire, as well as the game where they're preventing themselves from breathing. Basically, another child is pressing their hands up against another child's chest to keep them from breathing for what seemed to be about a minute, maybe a little bit longer, and then basically watching to see what happens after. Really? Is that how we do it now?
That's entertainment. Read a book.
I'm really like clueless right now. Is this because kids sit inside the house all day and play video games, and when they get outside, they have a little bit of freedom, so they just think of these games to play?
No,
I don't know.
No.
That's what I'm wondering.
I'm
What,
telling you.
like I said, what possessed the first kid to go, you know what, I'm going to film myself pouring household products on myself.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a
flammable
dare.
products, and then light myself on fire.
It was a dare.
And then the next kid, they go, ooh, that seemed like a good idea. Like, really?
It probably was a dare. And then it just got funnier. Like the slap game.
Exactly.
That
It's just
stuff.
the games have
we
upgraded.
we played Truth, Dare, or
we
Promise to
didn't
Keep or
have
whatever.
the internet. If you can make the video and put it on the internet, let's do it. That's how it starts. We didn't have the internet, so we had to do stuff like hide and go seek, because we had to do with everybody in the neighborhood. But now with the internet, I can record it, and everybody in the world can see the games that we play. And then it just be like, you know what, I want to play that game too. And now it's a trend. That's what everybody wants to do on the internet because of the internet.
Well, maybe I'm just clueless because I truly don't understand, and I hang out with a lot of young people all the time, especially like 14, 15-year-olds, because I want to know what's going on and what they're dealing with, because I want to know what's going on around for my daughter when she gets older. But these kind of things like this kind of scares me because fire is dangerous. No, ain't Smokey the Bear still around?
Yeah.
No.
Where's Smokey the
No.
Bear? Where did Smokey the Bear come
When the
from?
last time you seen Smokey the Bear?
Smokey the Bear.
Well, like
Dare.
1987?
You ain't seen Smokey since they stopped Joe Camel.
Oh,
Joe Camel and Smokey left at the
my
same
case.
time. My thing is this, Chris. If they're 14 and 15, no offense to you, brother, but you too old for them to be talking about that. They'll wait till you leave and then start talking about stuff like that. You got to be in a certain group for them to even bring that up around you, you know?
right.
That's what's
And
going on. It's just like
right.
when we was kids. You ain't gonna talk about the throwing people down the stairs in the sleeping bag. You ain't gonna talk about that around the adults.
Who did that?
I don't know. Let's
about
talk
to say,
about
don't
that.
say that one, 'cause
Let's
that might
talk
be a
about
new
that
thing.
since we in the room.
Let's wrap up in the sleeping bag
Oh.
and see who can go the fastest.
No, we ain't play that game. They played through Micah down the stairs in the sleeping bag. That's the game that they played. That was the game. It wasn't setting nobody on fire. It was throw Micah down the stairs. Watch him come back up and put him back in and throw him back down. That was a good game, huh?
That was safer than fire.
Yeah, it was.
Didn't you walk back up the stairs?
You might have a broken limb here and there. but,
Exactly.
You'll be all right.
And it made you a better person.
It made me a better person. It brought the family together.
It did bring the family together.
That's one thing that it did. Everybody wanted to throw Micah down the stairs. It's crazy. Nobody, you know what? Jason came, Derek came.
I want to go back.
It was a lot of people
so
that
I
came.
could come over.
Just to throw Micah down the stairs.
Yes.
If it wasn't for that throwing Micah down the stairs, he would not be Mr. King today.
Can I go back in time?
In all fairness, you wasn't the only one to take the tumble down the stairs.
Well,
I went down too.
Well, that's good. I feel better now.
Them Timmons brothers went down too.
See? Everybody got thrown down. But you know what? It's upgraded. Now we setting everybody on fire. That's the whole thing. We did our stupid stuff in our generation.
But that's the
everything gets better, or stupider.
I just think
everything has to upgrade.
I just think
even
that's taking
stupid
it to the extreme, brother.
Stupid even has to upgrade.
I guess so.
I guess, man. 407-894-1680. 407-894-1680. We'd love to hear what you have to think about these things that we're talking about. Go ahead, Miss McCrae. Go ahead and announce that event that's going to be happening real soon here.
We have a charity basketball game coming up August the 2nd. The Crimson and Cream versus Alpha Nation. The Crimson and Cream coach will be a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
You coaching?
I'm not going to be in town. And the Alpha Nation the coach will be a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So it really should be a lot of fun. Orlando Downtown Recreation Center Complex. Doors open at 2. The game starts at 3. Again, it's a charity basketball game. Crimson and Cream versus Alpha Nation.
What day was that again, Miss McCrae?
August 2nd.
August 2nd. Real quick,
this Saturday.
Real quick, another event that's happening this week on Friday, y'all, August 1st at 6 p.m. Going to be happening at the Brunswick Wekiva Lanes. WOKB Radio is sponsoring a back-to-school bowling event. Come on out, man. We're going to have a great time down at the Brunswick Wekiva Lanes down in Apopka, Florida, 2160 Cimarron Boulevard. This Friday, August 1st, 6 p.m. The registration fee, they are signing up teams. You can send info to info@wokbradio.com, info@wokbradio.com. You can send an email there, get more information about setting up teams. You better hurry up. Today was the last day to register a team, so you better get it in before the end of the day. You got less than 3 hours if you got a team. It's $20 per person or $100 per team. That's this Friday night, WOKB. We're going to have a great time. Joining with the family out there who listen to the radio station all the time. The personalities that have shows on the radio station are going to be down there. The owner's going to be down there as well. And we're going to have a good time for a back-to event from WOKB. Again, that's August 1st, 6 p.m. It's scheduled to end at 9 p.m., but I'm sure they'll leave when the fun is over, whatever time that is. The Brunswick Wekiva Lanes, 2160 Cimarron Boulevard, Apopka, Florida. This Friday, again, you can email info@wokbradio.com to get more information. Now, let's get to our topic, y'all. So the topic, like I said, I wanted to discuss what's been happening. We've talking about people have been talking about it all week over Twitter, Facebook, the news. First, they were discussing the suspension of Ray Rice for the domestic abuse incident that happened earlier this summer. There was a videotape that got released that basically showed Ray Rice coming out of a elevator in Atlantic City. And it appeared that he was kind of dragging what was then his fiancée out of an elevator, and she apparently seemed motionless. In the video, there was a point where he kind of kicked her. I guess he was trying to see if she was going to move. I don't know. But then after that, he was dragging her out of the elevator is what was caught on the video. So, of course, the police got involved. They're in the process of charging him with a crime. I was looking. I didn't see that the crime has been exactly resolved from the legal perspective, but it looks like where they're going or thinking about going is basically pleading him out and giving him the option to basically attend some anger management classes. And once that's over, the charges essentially go away from what I read from the article. It seems like where we're going from the legal side. Then, of course, Ray Rice is a NFL player. He plays star running back from the Baltimore Ravens. And so as what happens in the NFL, when you do something illegal, the NFL also steps in and punishes you. So the NFL decided that this was worth a 2-game suspension after they did all of their research. And so here we are. You have a bunch of people commenting on the event. I want to deal with the comments because I want to talk about Stephen A. Smith and what he said. But before we go there, I'd just like to hear what you guys think about what the NFL decided and just the overall, what the police have decided or the prosecutor in Atlantic City decided as well. What do you guys think about what's happened from the NFL side as well as the legal side? I'd love to hear from you too. 407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680. Go ahead, Ms. McCray. What do you think?
Pick me.
You pick better.
So here's the thing. The problem that I have with NFL, with Commissioner Goodell, he's not consistent with his rulings. Granted, each offense is a little different, but the college student that had the tattoos, wasn't he suspended like 5 games?
Terrell Pryor.
So he got 5 games for tattoos. All right. Another dude broke his, I think it's like a 3rd strike, obviously, with his drug use. He got
just the perspective. The tattoos that she's referring to is apparently when Terrell Pryor was at Ohio State, there were the accusation is that there were different shops and places around the city. I can't remember what city the Ohio State school is located, but in the city, the football players could basically go to different places and get free stuff. And so in this particular case, Terrell Pryor was accused of going to a particular tattoo shop, and they basically gave him several $100s worth of free tattoos. And so the NCAA was investigating him and pretty much was going to suspend him for the following year because this happened over the summertime. And so what he did is he said, all right, well, I'm not going to stay in school and get suspended and not be able to play football, so I'll just jump to the NFL. Well, he got to the NFL, and then the NFL decided that they would give him 5 game suspension, based on what he did in college. That's what she's referring to. Go ahead, Mr. Craig.
Thank you for that clarification, because I know many people probably didn't know what that was. But that's a prime example. He got 5 games for free tattoos. So the underlying problem, and I did some research, 21 teams out of the 32 teams in the NFL, 21 have at least 1 or more players involved in a domestic violence assault, accusation, some type of issue with domestic violence. 21 teams out of the 32. So here was a prime example to take this issue that's prevalent in your league and in America. Let's not misunderstand it. But as your commissioner, to take a stance on, so you let Michael Vick go because he killed some dogs, and this man knocked this girl clean out, and he gets 2 games.
2.
Dose. 2 games.
2 games.
2 games.
2.
And then when he showed up to pre-camp, the Baltimore Ravens fans are applauding him as he comes out on the field.
Now that's the crazy part.
Yay, right.
That
He-
to me
he-
that
Our
was
hero.
crazy.
But you got to
Yay.
remember, all fans care about is the fact that he is the star running back for the Baltimore Ravens.
Right.
And they're hoping that he comes out and has a great year again for the Baltimore Ravens. They're not even concerned about what he's doing in his personal life.
Which is the problem. And that's a society. That's in America. That domestic violence, whether it's a male or female going against each other, it's being ignored. But especially when it's men beating up women. That's like, oh, it happens all the time. Let's just move on. Run that ball, boy. Run that ball.
Now, to be fair, I don't think anybody's ignoring the domestic violence and what a problem it is. I think, though, here's where I kind of got confused or kind of like, really? My thing is, if you look at what's happening from the legal side. So from the legal side, like I said, from what I read, it seems like the prosecutor in the case is basically has decided that they're going to basically plea this down to where he essentially serves some anger management classes and attends a few anger management classes. And then after he does that, essentially the slate gets wiped clean. Now, if you're going to be upset about something, in my opinion, what we should be upset about is what's happening from the legal side. Because the NFL is just an organization that, we basically support and pay a bunch of money to and help them can create billions of dollars. They're not the moral compass of society. The moral compass of society is really supposed to be checked, through the legal system. If the legal system is not checking him, if you will, why are we now upset that this entertainment company, which is what the NFL is, it's an entertainment company. This entertainment company is not representing the I don't know, the morals of that we want society to represent, and punishing him to the, fullest extent, if you will. We're not upset about the legal system. We're upset that the NFL didn't give the maximum punishment perhaps they should have given.
Oh,
but we're okay that we're not even commenting that the legal system is going to slap him on the wrist and send him on home with some anger management classes and say, have a good day.
That's
brother.
a problem.
I think we've come
That
to
is a
expect
problem.
that of the legal system.
Yeah,
and I think that's
especially
what
especially with people with money.
Exactly. With people with money, go to the legal system. We expect,
and I will say this
I
too,
expected
though.
that from the legal system, but I didn't expect that from the NFL.
Isn't this supposed to be his first offense or something?
This is his first offense, which is why he's getting the slap on the wrist.
That and the paid lawyers. So.
Exactly. Like I said, we expect it from the legal system, oddly, but from the NFL, we expect the hammer, and we didn't get that, and that's why people are upset. Plus, he black.
This the thing. This the thing that I don't understand about Commissioner Roger Goodell. He was supposed to come in. I'm straightening the league out, and I'm be straightening the players out. We'll be strict, and we're not tolerating all this stuff. What happened?
407-894-1680.
You know what I'm saying?
It's only for certain players, brother.
Pac-Man got a year. And at the time he got the year, he hadn't even been convicted of anything. I mean, he was never when he got that year suspension, he had not been convicted of any crime.
Right, but the crime that he did commit was the public opinion crime of essentially putting himself in situations where there were multiple occasions where accusations were being made about him that not only reflected negatively on him, but then they were starting to reflect negatively on the league. At least that's how they saw it.
Okay,
and so they called themselves putting themselves out front.
Okay, I'm glad that you said that. Now,
because remember, hold on 1 second, just because I was listening to a comment the other day from one of the NFL VPs, because as they do when they have these kinds of cases. Unlike the drug policy, these cases aren't mandated on a particular game suspension.
Right.
They're all handled individually
right.
based on whatever facts or whatever investigation that the league does independently to come up with these decisions. And so, again, in his particular case,
okay.
I don't know what their investigation, proved, but based on the investigation that they had, based on, as the NFL VP described the other day, the counsel that they sought, which they apparently seek, counsel from the Players Association and other organizations, as well as former NFL players and whatnot, is how they come up with all these decisions, apparently. But yeah, that was his situation, and like I said, these cases are handled, they say, on an individual basis, because what essentially is being violated here is the personal conduct policy of the NFL.
Okay, now, public opinion: who's a bigger face of the league, Pac-Man or Ray Rice?
Well, obviously, at the moment, Ray Rice is.
No, at the moment, period. Pac-Man ain't never been the face of the league. He's never been no representation. Nobody will ever see Pac-Man, even when he was getting in trouble, and say he's a representation of the National Football League. Not one time. They've been talking about Ray Rice since he came out of college. Ray Rice has got a Super Bowl ring. Now, if you're gonna bring me that, and you got, again, Pac-Man never charged with anything. You don't got video of him doing nothing. You got video of a Super Bowl winning running back dragging his fiance out the elevator. Come on, bro. You can't tell me that. I'm not stupid. Don't feed me that like I'm dumb. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they also have video of what happened inside the elevator as well.
I'm just saying. All I'm saying is, if you're going to feed me all of that, you got to stick to it. Don't tell me about the face of the league and representing it. And now, I didn't hear all this backlash when Pac-Man was getting in trouble. Talk about, this, and this. Man, this is a story. They've been talking about this for how long? A week now?
At least that.
Usually stories die down within a couple of days, especially when you're talking about training camp coming around. So it's always something to talk about, correct?
Well, yeah, the event happened in February, and here we are now talking about it.
And we still talking about it. So don't tell me about a negative blight on the league. No, this is a negative blame on the league.
I think that's what a lot of players were upset about too, how inconstant the league was with that, that steel foot or the hammer. Because, like you said, every other player is getting it hard.
It's just so arbitrary.
It just come to Ray Rice and it's like, what?
Well, again, because
after a video, after all of this, that's all?
Like I said, unlike the drug policy, which is mandated, the drug policy is a part of the collective bargaining agreement. So that there's mandated games when you violate the drug policy, which is the difference in why Josh Gordon, who's now violated the drug policy 3 times, is up for a year-long suspension because
we understand
the collective bargaining agreement dictates that. Again, these cases are all handled on an individual basis. As the NFL MVP suggested the other day in his comments when he talked on Mike in the Morning, he talked about how, again, in their investigation, they saw all the video. They saw the video of what happened inside the elevator. And then they, of course, saw the video of what happened that everybody else saw with him pulling her out of the elevator at the end. And so, again, I don't know because I didn't see the video of what happened on the side inside the elevator. But in this particular case, that's where they came up with their conclusion. Again, my fault comes from, again, the legal system. I don't think it's the NFL's responsibility to check people, the NFL's responsibility to punish individuals more severe than what the legal system's doing, because at the end of the day, the NFL is a entertainment league. It's what they do. They entertain us. That's what they do.
True.
They entertain
I'm not
us.
disputing this.
And so their entertainment is really, at the end of the day, their entertainment is what they're checking for.
Okay. So what happened?
It's not their responsibility.
I'm not saying it is. I don't. Again, like Mr. King said, don't fault the legal system. Did you expect that? Number one. 2, first offense. But they wasn't worried about the legal system when they got Ben Roethlisberger for 4 games and he hadn't been charged with anything. They wasn't worried about the legal system when Pac-Man hadn't been charged with anything. So why you worried about it now? That's what I'm telling you. You can't just tell me anything, bro. I'm not stupid. You can't just tell me anything. Oh, it's this. Like it's no track record here with stuff. You tell, oh, it's case by case. No, this ain't case. I can understand you can say case by case, but you got too many examples where you punish people severely for the stuff that the legal system never pursued them on. Mm-hmm. So that's not no excuse.
Only got 4 games.
What do you mean only? He didn't do anything.
I thought
according to the legal system.
I thought he slapped some girl at the bar or something like that.
Well, he's had several incidents. One was rape.
But
he got suspended
according to the legal system, he didn't do anything.
Sexually assaulting a woman is what he got the 4 games for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He was accused of
it.
Again, allegedly.
He was accused of it.
That's
again, no criminal charges, right?
When he getting dogged by your boy Wallace?
No, it was Sanders. But again, accused of charged with nothing, but they still gave him 4 games. Now, Ray Rice is at least going through a legal process, so which means there's some kind of admission of guilt here. Mm-hmm. But he still only get 2 games. You see what I'm saying?
That's what the league is upset about. So many players.
That's the thing. That's the thing I'm not getting. I understand. That's why the public is so upset about it, because you keep talking about, well, each case by case, nothing. You punish people when you want to. Just say that. I'd rather you just be a G and just come out and say that, hey, this is our league. We can do what we want to do. Just tell me that. I can accept that.
Not to mention.
I really could. He ain't lying.
Hold on. Not to mention in this particular case, the wife now, she's the wife now, came to the hearing and argued on his behalf.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of pieces here. There's a lot of pieces here that
when you go to court. Okay, let me tell you.
That weren't present in some of these other cases.
Let me tell you like this. Go home. Well, I'm not going to tell you this. I'll give you an example. If you go home right now, hit your wife, call the police, she say, don't press charges, I guarantee you still going to jail, and I guarantee the state still going to pick the charge up. So what does that mean?
He's a made man. I seen Donnie Brasco.
Okay.
I just disagree that it's the NFL.
I'm not saying it's their responsibility, but it is their responsibility to be consistent when they say they're going to punish people. So what you're saying is
personal conduct.
Right. Exactly. This to me it exactly falls under personal conduct.
My thing is this,
so we can knock them out.
One man got suspended a week for talking about it wrong, and this man only get 2.
That's what I'm talking about. Come on, man.
This man said, well, women need to be careful what they do.
Hold on.
That's all he said, and he got suspended a week.
Just to put context on what Mr. King is talking about here, which is one of the other things I wanted to talk about. Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is a ESPN commentator. He has a popular show called First Take. And Jeremy's going to play the clip for us so we can hear exactly what he said. But he did make some comments the other day in referencing the Ray Rice case and what he thought about what Ray Rice did. And basically, he ultimately got suspended as the end result. He made an apology on Monday, and then he got suspended on Tuesday or probably late Monday night. And go ahead. You got that clip ready? Is that a yes?
If you be patient, I was gonna play it instead of talking to you. Just
shots fired.
And here's what I mean by that. We keep talking about the guys. We know you have no business putting your hands on a woman. I don't know how many times I got to reiterate that. But as a man who was raised by women, see, I know what I'm going to do if somebody touches a female member of my family. I know what I'm going to do. I know what my boys are going to do. I know what I'm going to have to remind myself that I work for the worldwide leader. I'm going to have to get law enforcement officials involved because of what I'm going to be tempted to do. But what I've tried to employ the female members of my family, some of who you all met and talked to and what have you, is that, again, and this is what I've done this all my life, let's make sure we don't do anything to provoke wrong actions. Because if I come or somebody else come, whether it's law enforcement officials, your brother, or the fellas that you know, if we come after somebody has put their hands on you, it doesn't negate the fact that they already put their hands on you. So let's try to make sure that we can do our part in making sure that that doesn't happen. Now, you got some dudes that are just horrible, and they're going to do it anyway. And there's never an excuse to put your hands on a woman. But domestic violence or you know, with or whatever the case may be, with men putting their hands on women is obviously a very real issue in our society. And I think that just talking about what guys shouldn't do, we got to also make sure that you can do your part to do whatever you can do to make to try to make sure it doesn't happen. We know they're wrong. We know they're criminal. We know they probably deserve to be in jail. In Ray Rice's case, he probably deserves more than the 2-game suspension, which we both acknowledged. But at the same time, we also have to make sure that we learn as much as we can about elements of provocation. Not that there's real provocation, but
all right, so
wait, that was the part right there. There's the provocation part is what got him in trouble.
Yeah,
right.
You paused it right on the part that
well, no. What he said, you heard. He talked about how basically women need to be careful not to provoke men into perhaps doing something or hitting them is what he was suggesting, is what he was talking about. As he acknowledged in the video clip that we played, he's not about men hitting women. As he said, if you hit a member of his family, a woman in his family, at least now, because he works for ESPN, he's going to call the law enforcement. But, before he got a job at ESPN,
them paws on you.
you don't want to catch him in the streets.
Don't let the soup
So he's
you.
certainly not advocating hitting on women, but at the same time, I think what he wanted to acknowledge is that women have to be careful sometimes in making sure that, especially in the Ray Rice, because what is, what is at least alleged to be on the video that starts in the elevator, what's alleged to happen is that Ray Rice's, then fiance, now wife, was actually hitting on him in the elevator. And then the hit that he gave to her was in response to the hitting that she was doing to him. So he was commenting to say women need to be careful because, if you take the initiative to start hitting on a man, should a man hit her back? Of course not. If a woman hits on me, I'm going to do my best to deflect those punches and then to get out of the situation so that it's no longer a situation. But what I'm not going to sit here and say is that every single man in the world is strong enough to allow a woman to just hit on them and then not do nothing, because while most women are not the type of women who are hit on you and then get vindictive and start talking about your mama and talk about your, this, that, and the third. There are some women that if they begin to hit on you, they're not going to just hit on you. They're going to also get vindictive and start talking about your mamas and everybody else. They feel like calling out at that particular moment in time. So that, again, I'm not saying that woman now deserves to be hit, but I am saying when you begin to hit on a man, when you can hit on anybody, the chance, is now there for them to retaliate against you. And so all he said was, let's be careful to make sure you're not doing that. You're not initiating the fight by now hitting on somebody, because as we all know, and that's a comment that Whoopi Goldberg talked about on The View the other day. When any individual begins to hit on another individual, you now open the window of possibilities that person might hit on you. 407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680. I'd love to hear from you. What do you got to say on these topics? What do you got to say, Mr. King? What do you think of the comments? You okay with what he said?
Yeah, I'm A-okay with it. I think that it wasn't, too soon, because in certain situations you can say something and then you can say it and it just be a little too soon to say that, But as we said, this happened back in February, and here we are almost in August. So I don't feel like it was too soon. But at the same time, I feel that Stephen has to recognize that majority of the people that's watching his show don't have sisters and women around them like the women that he may have in his family. So they may not understand what we understand, because as black people, we like confrontation. So, black people understand what he's talking about. But, every other race doesn't, they don't operate how we operate. So they really don't understand what Stephen was saying. And I'm pretty sure black people don't own ESPN. So that's why when they kind of took his comments, in another way. Because I felt he spoke very professional. Everything he said was very correct. I think he said it very well. He spoke so well, like Colin Powell. But, it's just that the people that he was speaking to was not receiving what he was trying to give. And that was the issue. But, again, this brother got suspended a week. This other brother got suspended 2 games.
That I was saying that same comment before the show, that what it is the majority of the audience, they can't relate to what he's talking about. They don't know women that confront men like that.
Exactly.
So, they don't understand. They think you talking gibberish or you pulling something out the air for some kind of defense.
They hearing what they want to hear when they don't understand.
I mean, that's like, to be honest, I got some women in our family, they'll go toe-to-toe with a dude. At least they think they can.
They think they can. They would definitely try.
Yeah, they'll definitely try. So it's one of them things like, I'm not a punching bag. I don't hit women, but at the same time, I'm not a punching bag. You just can't keep punching me. Now, if I can't escape, at some point, I'm just going to have to defend myself. No, I ain't the biggest Ray Rice, so I ain't going to lay nobody out. But,
I think what Stephen was saying was that, you shouldn't let it get that far as a woman. As a woman, you should just be like, all right, let me stop. Let me not let it get that far to where he might put his hands on me. But again, the audience that Stephen was talking to cannot relate to that. And he is known for the guy that just keeps it real. And again, it happened in February. Here we are in July. So I feel like it wasn't too soon for him to say that. But at the same time, the people that he worked for cannot relate. All they do is they hearing what the women need to watch out. What you trying to say? They're not hearing everything and understanding what he's saying. They just hearing what women need to be watching their mouth sometimes.
What you got to say, brother?
Let's be clear. ESPN is owned by Disney.
Yeah, that's the
magical world of Disney. So anything that be quiet, anything that goes against the grain. Now, people got stuck on provoke.
Right, exactly.
That's the key word. Because what he said, basically, nobody should put your hands on anybody. We got that. The provoke is what got people like, wait, So are you victim blaming? Like where are you coming from with
One
this?
word.
Now, with men, it's self-restraint on both parts. Like how long does it take for you, or how much will you take? We don't know how many times she hit him. She could have hit him one time and he just knocked her out. That's not the point. There has to be some restraint on both parties. Period. Like,
Right.
we all should know you can't run up on men, and men need to know, like you said, do your best to get away from that situation.
But at the same time, let's take the bus driver uppercut situation. When the young lady was spitting, talking about the man mama, she put her hand in his eye, poked him in the face, pushed him in the head, and eventually the main bus driver said, you know what? I'm finna take you back to Street Fighter Mortal Kombat, and he uppercutted her outside of the bus, okay? And then he threw
he
her
lost
stuff
his
off
job.
the bus. No, he did not.
I thought he lost his job.
No, he did not. He got suspended with pay, and he back at work.
How you know?
Google it. You got your iPad. It's right there. He did not lose his job. He was provoked. They got it on camera. She doing all of that, and he was being restraintful. Now, again, we got another brother who was in his truck, started his truck too loud, and the white lady and her 2 kids, and he was very strong because he just recorded the lady selling him out. I was so hurt about that video.
That's the one she called him the N-word.
That
Yeah.
she was calling him more than the N-word.
Yeah.
She
Everything
stuck
from the
her
side.
head in the truck and was talking about his mama, calling him the N-word, and he just recording it. He's like, ma'am, I'm sorry. And black dude, man, that brother was strong. That brother, but at the same time, he didn't have all the whatever Ray Rice and the NFL gives him. He didn't have all that in him like Ray Rice has also. So, it just depends on how strong that person is.
Let's play the clip from what Whoopi Goldberg said.
Go ahead.
Our friend Stephen A. Smith, he's going to be addressing some comments that he made on Friday regarding NFL player Ray Rice's 2-game suspension for allegedly knocking out his fiancée. Now, Smith basically said no man should ever hit a woman, but a woman should learn how to avoid provoking a man's anger. Now, some people are outraged, and let me just point out that the comment that he made is based on what the young lady said she did. Let me just make that clear to y'all. Yeah. She said, I hit him, and I believe that's what Stephen is pointing.
I just wanted to say, for a man, hitting a woman unless his life is in jeopardy.
No, I'm sorry.
He knocked her out. He knocked her out.
Listen, I'm sorry. If you hit somebody, you cannot be sure you are not going to get hit back. Because no. Oh yes, baby. Listen, if you're a little boy, I'm sorry. If you're a little boy and you grow up with a little sister says, no, you can never hit her. And she's like this, and she's hitting you all the time. You say, mommy. Well, you know what? I'm sorry. If you hit her, you have to teach women. You have to teach women. Do not put your hands on anybody. Do not. Let me just finish my point. Because I know I'm going to catch a lot of hell, and I don't care. But you have to teach women. Do not live with this idea that men have the chivalry thing still with them. Right. Don't assume that that's still in place. Right. So don't be surprised if you hit a man and he hits you back. You don't hit. Listen, I'm sorry. You hit somebody, they hit you back.
So I do stand corrected then. The bus driver even got 3 days in jail and had to pay $1,000
and was fired.
The
young lady was cited disturbance of the peace.
But the bus driver went to jail. After all of that.
Only reason because it got caught on video.
Right.
But so did Ray Rice.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that the physical assault got caught on video and it went across the web. So publicly,
and again,
they had to fire him.
And then again, in the Ray Rice situation, whether we think is right, wrong, indifferent, whatever, there obviously is more video than what we saw. And so when whomever was making decisions about what to do and not to do with Ray Rice, they had the full perspective of everything that happened. And again, I didn't see it, so I really don't know what they had, but I know they had more than I saw. And so They made the decisions that they made.
Yeah, you know what they had?
They had the whole video, but I don't think that she did everything that lady did to that bus driver.
Yeah, I know that's
like,
right.
I seen that bus driver video, and I saw
she went in.
She went off on this bus driver, and he was like, he took it as much as he could.
Really
and the thing about it is, she wasn't even unconscious after she got uppercutted. I mean, she at least was able to get up. She didn't have to drag her off the bus. You know what I'm saying? Wow. This lady had to get dragged, and he picked her up, and another man walked over, and he dropped her, and she just fell back down. Like, how many days he went to jail?
So he went to jail for 3 days, fined $1,000, and was fired from his job. And then still also has 5 years probation.
5 years. And you got to pay every month when you on probation for 5 years. And what Ray Ray's got? He goes to training camp and get praised.
And here's your thing about the law. So that was in Cleveland. That judge was like, nope, you going to jail. This man, wherever they were, I think they were in Atlantic City. So that's what, Jersey?
Yeah, Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just
money talk.
Money talks. Here's this football player with rings, like you said. I mean,
he's affiliated.
Nobody cares about trying to stop this madness. Nobody wants to stand up and say no. Let's use an example.
He throws up the 3.
Let's use him as an example that this ain't gonna be cool.
But again, who's thinking that getting 2 games is cool though? That's what I don't.
No,
get.
I'm talking about domestic violence. Again, 21
the justice
teams
system should have did something.
out of the 32
I agree. If there was going to be a
league has issues with domestic violence.
I think if there's going to wait, but that's not even surprising though when you consider you're talking about men who play football, who are at least especially during the season, who are basically hyped up on hormones. And I'm not talking about they're taking some kind of performance enhancing drugs or anything. I'm just talking about naturally, because of what they do, the hormones in their system are elevated, and so as a result, they're constantly pumped up. Not in February. And so as a result,
speak on it.
As a result, it kind of makes what I'm saying.
Beyond, that ain't
it's
no
not
excuse.
surprising that
they not
they got
pumped
some
up
issues
on Wednesday.
Here's the thing.
It's not surprising that they have some issues.
They not pumped. They be mad when they got to practice on Wednesday. You can't tell me they
in
pumped
February.
Up.
Here's the thing. Also, let's bring it back to the Jay-Z Solange issue. Now, Jay showed restraint. We got Julius, which is Beyonce's bodyguard.
407-894-1680.
He's holding her back, yet she's going ham.
But
and
the
Jay
security
is
guard was there.
Right, but he still could have been he could have pushed her back. He could have been a little bit more aggressive with her.
No offense.
But that shows you he
Excuse
showed
me.
restraint.
Excuse me. No offense, but Jay-Z has a video online right now. He's slapping some girl that's asking for his autograph. What a restraint
that
that
was
went.
not asking for his autograph.
She was asking for his
assistant. I mean, that's not an excuse. But
thank you. He slapped. I'm talking about and he slapped the mess out. It was almost like the bus driver uppercut. He got her good. I'm talking about 5-finger slap, and then Jay-Z want to talk about Chris Brown after he done slapped the mess out of this girl who was asking for an autograph. That's all she wanted. Write 4 letters, JAY-Z, and you slapped the mess out of her. Now that you older, you can show some restraint. Dog, you almost 50. Solange might have got with your old up, to be honest with you. Let Julius not would have been there. You know Solange a little off.
10.
You know Solange a little off. She ain't got no hair you can pull to. Man, you know that's all Jay do is swing wild and pull hair. He do the windmill swing. Anyway, he is not a good example. I'm sorry.
No, that is a good example.
Well, what was the video when he, like I said, he slapped that girl that asked for his autograph?
That video is not well known.
It ain't well known.
What we saw was him and Solange. Everybody saw that video.
Well, people,
and
let's
they're
go
still
on
talking
Google.
about it.
Let's go on Google
My
right
point
now.
is
that he was showing restraint when he darn near 50.
There are ways. It doesn't matter about
there are
age.
ways to protect yourself.
There are ways.
Julius
to stop
was protecting him. That's
but
the only
he
thing.
also was still protecting himself and keeping something that can be much worse.
I tell you, if
from
Solange
happening.
and Jay-Z was in that elevator by themselves, and Beyonce and Julius were not in that elevator, just like Ray and his woman was in there by themselves,
Jay would have beat her down.
Jay would have he would at least slapped her like he did that other girl that asked for his autograph.
He wouldn't.
I believe he would have.
I don't know. We won't speculate on what would have could have happened, but
I just seen the video where he slapped that one
happen.
girl that was asking for his autograph, so I'm going off of that.
and
evidence suggests
that's all.
And then too, he could even argue that that happened when he was definitely younger and
around Ray Rice's age,
and maybe he's got growth at this point. So,
yeah.
But again, he showed tremendous restraint in that particular situation, which is again that's what you would love to see every single man in the world do when a woman attacks
with a security
them.
guard.
But at the same time, I also think that's also not realistic. If a woman attacks a man, I would hope to think a good 90% of them are going to do the right thing, but I definitely know there's a good 10% of them that unfortunately they may hold themselves together for a few minutes, but if it continues, unfortunately they are not going to do the quote unquote right thing.
It depends on how far they go.
And so keep your hands to yourself. If everybody keeps them hands to yourself, at least in those situations where a man certainly won't provoke you to or hit you initially, and there's some men that won't. If you're not hitting him, so keep your hands to yourself, and hopefully nothing escalates to that point.
I think,
which is what I think he said. That's what Whoopi Goldberg was saying. Just keep your hands to yourself, man. There's no reason for anybody, man or woman, to hit another person. There's no reason for it. Talk, discuss, leave the situation, come back to it when you're calmed down. But there's no reason anybody should be putting their hands on somebody else.
I disagree. I've seen on World's Dumbest Fights, these two white dudes got out their car, start swinging, fighting, falling on other cars, and you know what they did? Shook hands. You okay, buddy? You okay? All right, good. All right, then. And got back in their cars and drove off like it was nothing. Yeah. Sometimes you got to get a friendly fade.
And I'm sure it wasn't necessary either.
I mean, well, somebody cutting somebody off.
Well,
you know how that
thing,
goes.
though, Mr. King, it's 2014. You can't rely on that no more.
Well, no, you can't. But I'm just saying, sometimes you got to get a friendly fade.
I mean, I don't disagree with you there. As men, sometimes
you killed in 2014.
Yeah, I'm saying, back in the day, you could do that. You can get up with somebody, y'all,
stand your ground, Israel.
Have your little spat or whatever, a couple of minutes. Whoever get the best of them, y'all agree as men. Okay, well, we got out of the system, we cool. As you know how it is, and you grow up. Sometimes the one you fought the most be your best friend when you grow up.
Yep.
But, it's a whole nother day now. Everybody too sensitive.
People setting people on fire.
Yeah. I do have one more comment related to that, though. What I do find interesting is, a lot of us are defending Stephen A. Smith and talking about how he really shouldn't have been suspended for what he said. But I was thinking about this last night when I read the story. And, I almost fought us. And when I say us, I'm talking about black people, generally speaking. Because when you think about, the idea of people getting suspended for things that they say in public, a lot of that started from us listening to other people, other talk show hosts and different things saying stuff that we didn't appreciate. And then we're going, oh, they need to be fired, or they don't need to be this and they don't need to be that. And now
that didn't start.
That didn't come from us.
That didn't start from us.
Stephen A?
No.
Michelle Beadle is what got it going.
You missed my whole conversation.
No, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, but that didn't start from us.
I didn't say.
Al Sharpton and Reverend Jackson wasn't the first one to start doing that. People have been getting suspended and stuff and fired for stuff they said since the 70s.
Long time.
And it wasn't.
Not.
And I'm not talking about racial
today.
stuff. I'm talking about between saying sexist things and all that kind of stuff.
Because all he said
didn't start
was
with us.
women shouldn't be provoking. This man is talking about nappy-headed HOEs.
Nah, I ain't even talking about.
You need to be fired, and then he got his job back.
I ain't even talking about that.
Like,
this predates all this stuff. I'm
like,
people beginning.
Well, what I'm talking about is the explosion. The explosion
of
of a lot of that. I disagree. I disagree with you on that.
It depends.
You disagree? People getting fired for that stuff?
Steven didn't even say
Hal
nothing.
Cosell got booted off the air for saying things inappropriate during the broadcast.
We can go.
Al Sharpton wasn't on the map then. Jesse Jackson was, but well, I guess technically he was, but he wasn't.
See, the most recent thing is Imus saying that craziness, and that was horrible. And Stephen A. didn't even say anything that was. I didn't feel he said anything except that one word.
What he said. It's about the fact that somebody else was offended by what he said, and as a result, started, controversy, if you will.
Yeah.
To try and get him.
He's not in the position to
quote
say
unquote
that.
Check him, if you will.
He's not in the. Like I said, he forgot who his audience was. A comedian can clearly say that.
He forgot who he was.
I mean, but he's that guy that says things that's edgy. Yeah. That's what his role is. He says edgy things.
Again, he forgot who he was.
He can't say that about women. Women have too much power.
You on First Take.
Now,
politically incorrect.
Here's what's going to be curious. Rush Limbaugh, he's had the quote said yesterday, said maybe the fame and everything, marrying this guy, maybe the little hit on the jaw was worth it. Let's see what happens with this.
Nothing's gonna happen to him. You know why?
Right.
Because one, he owns everything he does, so that there's nobody checking him because he's at the top.
He ain't at the top. He on a radio station.
Yeah,
no,
does
he own a radio station?
He's on a radio station.
Does he own the radio station?
But they pay him to be on that station.
But he ain't at the top.
So
what I'm saying is he answers to somebody.
He is at the top because he owns the company that sells his time to those radio stations. But he don't own the airways.
What I'm trying to say, he can be fired just like anybody else.
No, he can't. Well, yes, he can. Yes, they can drop him from the program.
That's all I'm trying to say.
But he makes way too much money for anybody to be dropping him from a program. So he's not going to get any kind of repercussion.
So they say.
He is the #1 radio broadcaster in the country, bro.
I'm not saying he make. I'm not talking about how much money he make. I'm talking about ain't nobody above getting fired if they don't want to get rid of you. That's what I'm trying to say. If he don't own a radio station, he can be got just like anybody else.
If they took what's her name off The View,
he made too much money.
Well,
he made too much money for too many people. For him
but he says edgy things like that, just because that's what he does. But when Steven do it, it's an issue.
For every station that drops him, there's another station ready to pick him back up.
I ain't saying that wasn't, but that still doesn't mean he can't be fired from a station, get kicked off a station, get kicked off a station.
He's good, bro.
I'm sure he is. Why you still defending the white dude?
I'm not.
We ain't defending. You still defending Stephen A.
I'm not. like that. I have defended Stephen A.
You ain't going in on Stephen A. like that.
I think it's ridiculous he got suspended. What are you talking about?
Call Disney then. Matter of fact, go knock on the door. You're a former employee.
They don't let us back in the building, bro. Real quick.
Not you. Never mind. We ain't
We're not going there, brother. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, me neither.
Hey, man, real quick before we get out the air. Remember, Friday it's going down. WOKB Back to School Bowling event happening down at Brunswick Weehawken Lanes, 2160 Cimarron Boulevard, Apopka, Florida. It starts at 6 p.m. If you want more info, email info@wokbradio.com. Friday, 6 p.m., 2160 Cimarron Boulevard, Brunswick, Weehawken Lanes. Man, this is your host, J. Real. I'm signing off. I will see you next week. This is Real Family Talk on WOKB 1680 AM, your urban empowerment and inspiration station. You can follow us on Facebook, Real Family Talk. You can follow us on Twitter, Real Family Talk. The website, realfamilytalk.weebly.com.
WOKB, Winter Garden, Orlando.